Hi loves, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. My name is Tyla. Thanks so much for joining me today. So the topic of today is doom scrolling. So doom scrolling, also known as doom surfing, is the act of spending excessive amounts of time reading large quantities of news online. So I know for a lot of people, when it comes to social media, when it comes to our phones, when it comes to television, that is the one thing that most people use as escapism to just escape their day-to-day lives and reality. But what happens when that one escape becomes filled with nothing but negativity? This can really lead you to feeling entirely hopeless because now everything that's filled within your reality that you see is nothing but negativity. Now, it can be really addictive and you can find yourself falling into these rabbit holes where you're just scrolling and reading an endless amount of news, reading an endless amount of different articles with things going on in the world, or just watching different videos on different things that are happening that are really negative. And the thing is too, when it comes to negative news, negative media, and just negativity in general, it tends to spread a lot quicker than anything positive. And it's so funny because I was actually speaking about this the other day with somebody really close to me, and we were just talking about how they push out all of this negative media in order to keep us in a fear mindset, in order to keep us anxious, depressed, and just in a low vibration. So you have to really make sure that you're being conscious about the things that you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. Now with the algorithms too, one thing that you watch and that you see, if you're going into that rabbit hole where you're looking up different information about a certain subject, or you come across a negative video and then you're watching all the other videos about that same topic, your algorithm now is going to keep showing you things that are similar to that. So now you have nothing but negative news on your feed. Now, being in tune with all of the major things that are going on in the world is very, very important. So you do not want to be ignorant to what's happening around you. You do want to make sure that you are consuming certain media and that you are keeping up to date with the major events that are happening. And this is also a form of why people fall into doom scrolling, because they use it as a way to gain all the access of information that they need so that they can be prepared for anything that may happen. So naturally, when you come across negative media or news, or you just see something that catches your eye, you're going to want to gain more information on that topic. You're going to want to know what's really going on with that subject. So it's naturally going to lead you into that rabbit hole of just consuming a bunch of negative media. But the important thing is to make sure that you are being conscious about what you're reading and where you're getting that information from, because a lot of the things that we read and that we see online are false. And it's so hard to decipher what is real and what is fake. And it's really interesting because I read that the term doom scrolling actually came about around 2020 when COVID first became a thing. And we were all on lockdown, so we didn't really have a lot of access to do certain things. We mostly were just indoors on our phones, and that was the one way for us to really gain information about things that were going on. And TikTok really blew up. So TikTok is the one main place that a lot of things are really being spread. A lot of things are being shown and brought to the light through that app. And it became our way of staying updated within the world. So if you are somebody that naturally has high anxiety, or you tend to fall into depression, or you just naturally have a negative outlook on life, you really want to make sure that you are limiting your scrolling and that you're not consuming this type of media, because what this does is that it puts you in a constant state of fear. And what we watch, what we read, what we listen to, it does get deeply embedded into our subconscious, and it becomes a part of the way that we think, the outlook that we have on life and our perspective. So you really want to make sure that you are being careful, because it'll make you really see life in a negative way as opposed to a positive way. Things that are good that happen in the world, they're not really broadcasted. Nobody is really talking about all of the miracles that are happening, all the amazing things that are going on. It's mostly the negative that we are being fed and that we see. So you just have to make sure that you are keeping a healthy balance. Because if not, consuming too much of this type of media, it can cause you to fall into depression. It can cause you to be highly anxious and always on edge, and to just have a negative outlook on the future as well. Now, something that I do is I try to manage my screen time. Now, it is really hard to not be on your phone with all of the different things that we have access to, especially TikTok. It's so easy to fall into just mindlessly scrolling, but that has so many negative effects on your brain and just your mental health in general. So you have to be conscious enough to make sure that you are setting limits for yourself and not falling into just mindlessly scrolling for hours on end. So I do like to keep updated, so I will will follow and subscribe to certain channels or just certain accounts so that I can keep updated with specific topics if I feel that that is a reliable source, but I will not allow that stuff to continuously be on my feed. So when I do see something that I don't want to continuously watch, I will choose the option that says not interested, or that I don't want to see this, do not recommend channel, etc., so that I make sure that my feed is not only filled with that type of content. So that is the beautiful part about social media, is that we do have some form of control as to what we see. We can't always control what comes across our timelines, but you can kind of feed out the things that you are interested in and that you want to see more of, as opposed to the things that you don't want to see. Something that I do as well is I like to take social media breaks every now and then so that I'm just being present in the real world, because social media is a completely different universe. It's like its own world within itself. And because of the fact that it's so addictive and a lot of people use it in their spare time, we get so caught up in that fake world that we're not actually present to what's going on in reality. We're not actually grounded, and we lose a sense of reality. We lose touch of what's going on in the present. We lose touch of the things that can make us happy in a healthy way, and we rely so much on social media. So make sure that you are taking breaks from being online if you do want to have a better and healthier mental health. So if you notice yourself starting to get to that point where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared, what's gonna happen next? Oh my gosh, this world is horrible, I don't want to be here anymore, what's the point of even living? That's when you know that you have to take a break, because you are being overwhelmed with all the news and the media that you are seeing, and it is time to take a step back and just take a break from social media, because it can be so overwhelming. So overall, just make sure that you are getting your news from reliable sources and that you're not overindulging and consuming all of this negative media, because it is so bad for your mental health and is really going to make you have a negative perception on life, to the point where you're not going to be able to perform and focus on reality and the things that you have going, because you're so consumed by what's going to happen next. And a great example of this as well was everything that was going on with the eclipse recently. There was so many articles and things going on about what was going to happen with the eclipse and this and that. So it really had a lot of people in a state of fear and anxiety. But that is it for this video, you guys. I do hope that you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe and stay tuned for more, share it with somebody that you feel it may benefit, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace and much love.